Do you believe in right person, wrong time? I think anything can happen in relationships, but that right person is a projection of a future for which there is no data, so no way to know if that person was really right. Sure, the last instance of this was me moving a long distance away. We still stay in touch a lot and are now best friends, but no way am I starting a relationship on long distance. Our relationship as friends is great, and I'm grateful each day for having them in my life. God, I wish I'd met this woman I'm dating before we were both mangled by previous life events. Neither of us will date more that casually because she was literally sex trafficked in the past and I am divorced from a very abusive marriage. But when she isn't experiencing PTSD, she is just the sweetest person with an amazing soul. And when I'm not distancing myself from her because I'm scared of getting hurt, I'm a darn fine guy. Yes. I believe two things. That sometimes people say right person, wrong time to cover up the real reason for why they can't or won't start a relationship with someone, or that it's said when you're idealizing someone because you're prevented from exploring what a relationship would actually look at. Honestly, it's just a contradiction in terms for me. If it were the right person, it would be the right time. And if it's not, then it's not the right person. But I get what someone is saying with right person, that there's a lot of compatibility. But untested compatibility is useless. If you haven't fucked, lived together, and talked about kids, you really haven't tested how far that shit can go. Timing is absolutely a factor in the success of a relationship. I once went through a period of massive depression that lasted a few years. I remember one time, a fairly attractive woman approached me at a bar and told me that she felt extremely drawn to me, like I was a person she was supposed to know. I had definitely noticed her a few times prior to her saying that, and I remember thinking that she was someone who, if I was in a better place in life, would be exactly the kind of person I'd be looking for. I told her that I was flattered by the comment, and that I found her incredibly attractive and interesting, but that I had a feeling that the most magical thing I could do was to tell her that I wasn't in a place where I was ready for anything, so our best moment in life as a unit was probably just destined to be right there with each other for a brief moment, because it would only go downhill from the high. Yes, and I've been in not only that situation, but also wrong person, right time, right person until I wasn't, and wrong person, but good enough for right now, enough that maybe the stars will align someday, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Nope. I think it's a destructive way to think too. I've personally experienced that. It was so unbelievably painful and still hurts a lot. Sort of, but it's way easier to define what made it the wrong time than whether someone was the right person. Several friends broke off relationships before deployment. 9-12 months of inconsistent and sometimes no communication is a tough thing to ask anyone to suffer through with you. But at the same time, a couple of those friends had only been in relationships for a few months. Not exactly a ton of time to get to know someone well enough to know if they would have been your forever person. How do you know for sure it would have worked out perfectly had the timing been better? Answer: you don't. As a 53M, who has been around the world a bunch of times, I used to think so. But no, I think that if it was meant to be, it would. No, if it's really the right person, y'all make the time right. I think y'all find a way to make it work with the right person, even if the time isn't right. Yes, of course. Nope. If you think it's the right person, wrong time, it means you're romanticizing the situation. Your brain has created the perfect person, but whatever is in your head is not real, which is evidenced by the wrong time aspect. Yes, but only if your definition of right person is broad. I don't particularly believe in soulmates or anything like that. Each person certainly has a number of people who would be a great partner. Likely there is objectively one person who is the best fit according to elements of compatibility. However, who that person is will also change over time. People change. Relationships don't work on compatibility alone, and it isn't important to find the number one right person. Yes. Also, wrong person, right time happens a lot too, unfortunately. Yes. I'm a widow who is remarried. My two husbands are vastly different. Had I met my current husband at the time I first wed, he wouldn't have been right for me. Had I met my first husband now, he wouldn't have been right for me. That is because of the changes in them and the changes in me over time. For sure long ago I met the right one, but it was the wrong time. She wasn't taking care of her mental health, so we couldn't be together. It was sad for both of us. But destiny had other plans for us both. Destiny can be amazing, or it can leave you wondering what might have been. Yeah, I do. I think it's because sometimes you can actually meet the right person, but your current circumstances in that moment isn't the right time for you guys to start your relationship. It may be because you or that person may have things they are dealing with personally, responsibilities they need to prioritize first, or things they still want to be able to accomplish on their own. I think if they SRE the right person, they'll be willing to wait until it's the right time for you both. Then again, it also depends on the specific situation and reason, haha. Yes, I do. There are no soulmates, just people that have decided that they can keep working out their differences to some degree in order to stay together. Sometimes couples have a deal-breaker event where they are in love, but have personal goals that are contrary to maintaining couplehood. They usually break up rather than try to make the other person sacrifice or ultimately be unhappy. It's honestly a very mature choice that requires a lot of self-awareness. I haven't had to make that decision myself, but I did have at least one right person, wrong time relationship. I actually wouldn't date a guy I went to high school with because my best friend was in love with him. He had no interest in her. I liked him too, but no, I'd lose her friendship if I dated him. Then college happens, everyone moves away and you're left wondering what if.